I didn't expect a car like the Bugatti Chiron to feel so different once you actually start taking it apart. From the outside, it looks like pure perfection. Low, wide, aggressive, and almost unreal in how smooth every line is. Most people see it as just a symbol of speed and money, but once you get close to it in a real workshop environment, that illusion starts to fade in a very interesting way. The first few minutes are always about respect. You're not just working on a car, you're working on something that represents one of the highest levels of automotive engineering ever created. But after that respect settles in, curiosity takes over. You start asking the real question, how is this thing actually built? Not how it looks, not how fast it goes, but what is really inside it that makes it so special. That is exactly where this journey starts. And from the very first panel removal, you realize this is not a normal car teardown. It feels more like opening a machine that was designed with a completely different mindset from everything else on the road. As soon as the outer body panels start coming off, the first big surprise appears. Under all that smooth design is a carbon fiber structure that doesn't behave like a normal car frame at all. This is a monocoque, and it is basically the core skeleton of the entire Chiron. Everything connects to it. And when I say everything, I mean the engine, suspension, interior, safety systems, and even small mounting points all depend on this one central structure. What makes it even more impressive is how clean and tight everything is. There is no wasted space, no unnecessary metal, and no messy layout like you see in regular vehicles. It feels like every single millimeter has been planned in advance. When you tap into it physically, it almost feels unreal because it is both extremely light and extremely strong at the same time. That combination is what allows the Chiron to reach speeds most cars will never even come close to. But what shocked me most is not just the material itself, but how everything is built around it like it is the absolute foundation of the entire machine. At this point, you start realizing something important. This is not a car that was assembled. This is a car that was engineered from a single idea of performance and then built outward from that idea with no compromises. Once the structure becomes visible, the next stage of the teardown brings you face to face with the engineering logic behind the design. Every part you remove seems to reveal another layer of planning underneath. Even simple brackets are not simple at all. They are shaped in very specific ways to handle stress, vibration, and force distribution at high speeds. Nothing is flat or random. Everything has curves, angles, and reinforcement points that serve a purpose. One of the most interesting things is how modular the entire system feels. Instead of one complicated mess of parts, the Chiron is divided into sections that each handle a specific job. The front section deals with airflow and cooling, the center section focuses on balance and structure, and the rear section carries the engine and transmission system. But all of these sections are still deeply connected in a way that makes them act like one single machine. This is where you really start to see the difference between normal engineering and hypercar engineering. In normal cars, parts are designed to fit together. In the Chiron, parts are designed to function as one unified system under extreme conditions. That means everything has to work perfectly not just when the car is new, but also when it is pushed to its absolute limits at high speed for long periods of time. That level of expectation changes everything about how it is built. Then comes the most anticipated moment in the entire process, the engine. The Bugatti Chiron's W16 engine is not just large, it is almost overwhelming when you see it outside the car for the first time. It is wide, deep, and packed with systems that all work together in a very controlled way. 4 turbochargers sit around it like parts of a balanced system, rather than simple power boosters. When people hear 1,500 horsepower, they usually think about raw, uncontrolled force, but what you see here is the opposite. This engine is not about chaos. It is about control. Every bit of power is managed carefully so that the car remains stable even when pushed to extreme speeds. The airflow system inside the engine is designed in a way that allows continuous performance without overheating or losing efficiency. Even the way fuel and air mix inside the engine is optimized for smooth delivery rather than sudden bursts. When you study it closely, it becomes clear that this is not just an engine built for performance numbers. It is an engine built for endurance at high speed, which is a completely different challenge. And this is where most people misunderstand hypercars. They think power is the most important part, but in reality, stability at that power level is much harder to achieve as more parts come off. The cooling and airflow systems start to reveal themselves, and this is where the engineering becomes even more impressive. Air is not just allowed to flow through the car randomly. It is guided very carefully through specific paths designed into the body. Every vent, channel, and opening has a purpose. Some areas are designed to bring air in, others are designed to push heat out, and some are designed to reduce pressure buildup at high speeds. Even the shape of the car outside plays a role in how air behaves inside the system. What looks like simple styling is actually functional design working in the background. When you start seeing these systems exposed, you realize how much work goes into something most drivers will never notice. The car is constantly managing heat, pressure, and airflow at the same time while also trying to maintain performance and stability. That balance is extremely difficult to achieve, and yet in the Chiron, it all works together in a very smooth and controlled way. This is where the real intelligence of the design shows itself. It is not just about making a fast car. It is about making a fast car that does not break itself while doing it. By the time everything is fully stripped down, the full picture becomes clear. The Bugatti Chiron is not just a luxury hypercar, and it is not just about speed. It is a complete system of engineering decisions that all connect together in a very precise way. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is simple. Even the smallest detail plays a role in the bigger system. What I thought would be just a powerful engine and a fancy body turned out to be one of the most carefully designed mechanical systems ever built for road use. And the real truth I discovered is this. The Chiron is not impressive because it is fast. It is impressive because it stays controlled at speeds where most machines would fail instantly. That is the real achievement. Not just reaching extreme performance, but surviving it again and again without compromise. Once you see it from the inside, your entire understanding of what a hypercar is completely changes. It is no longer just a symbol of speed. It becomes a symbol of how far engineering can go when nothing is limited except imagination. Continuing from that point, once the full teardown is complete, the Chiron doesn't feel like a supercar anymore. It feels more like a highly controlled experiment in physics and engineering that somehow became legal to drive on public roads. What stands out most at this stage is how every system is not just built for performance, but also for communication between parts. The engine doesn't just produce power on its own. The transmission reacts instantly. The cooling system adjusts airflow in real time, and even the suspension changes behavior depending on speed and road conditions. It's not a collection of parts anymore. It behaves like a single living machine where every section is constantly talking to the others. That level of coordination is what makes the Chiron feel so stable even when it is pushed into extreme performance zones. Most cars would feel stressed or unpredictable at those speeds, but hey, everything feels strangely calm and controlled. That contrast between extreme power and smooth behavior is one of the most impressive things I discovered during this entire process. Another surprising detail comes from the way Bugatti handles safety and durability inside the design. At first glance, people think safety in a car like this is just about airbags or crash protection, but in reality, it goes much deeper. The entire structure is designed to survive extreme stress over long periods, not just in accidents. The carbon fiber monocoque is not only strong in one direction, it is built to handle force from multiple angles at the same time. That means during high-speed driving, when pressure builds up across the body of the car, it does not twist or weaken like normal materials. Instead, it holds its shape with incredible stability. Even the way components are attached to the chassis is designed to absorb vibration and reduce long-term wear. This is important because at speeds above 300 kilometers per hour, even small vibrations can turn into serious problems if they are not controlled properly. What I realize here is that Bugatti is not just building a fast machine. They are building a machine that can survive its own performance level without slowly destroying itself. As the inspection continues deeper, another hidden truth becomes clear, and that is how much testing and refinement must have gone into every single part. Nothing in this car feels like a first attempt. Everything feels refined, tested, and improved over many versions. Even simple systems like door mechanisms or panel fittings are engineered to operate perfectly under stress and over time. There is a level of consistency in build quality that shows this is not just a production vehicle, it is a carefully controlled engineering project. The tolerances between parts are extremely tight, meaning there is almost no unnecessary movement or flexibility in how components fit together. This level of precision is one of the reasons a Chiron feels so solid even when you are working on it. Nothing rattles. Nothing feels loose, and nothing feels like it was added without purpose. Every decision in the design seems to have gone through a very strict process of optimization, and that leads to an important realization. Cars like this are not built quickly. They are built slowly, carefully, and with a level of patience most industries do not allow anymore at this point in the teardown. I also started to understand something more subtle but very important about the Chiron's design philosophy. It is not trying to be the lightest, the simplest, or even the cheapest to produce. Instead, it is focused on one thing above everything else: balance and extreme performance. That means every system is designed to work together under pressure, not just individually perform well. For example, increasing power in the engine is useless if the cooling system cannot handle the heat. Improving speed is meaningless if the chassis cannot stay stable. Even aerodynamics must work with mechanical grip, not against it. So what Bugatti has done here is not just build a fast car, but build a system where every improvement in one area is supported by improvements in all other areas. That is why the Chiron feels so complete. There are no weak links that break the chain of performance. Everything is connected in a way that supports the final goal, which is controlled speed at an extreme level. By the time everything is put back into perspective, the real truth of the Chiron becomes very clear. There is no hidden secret or single trick that makes it special. The truth is that it is a result of extreme engineering discipline applied across every single part of the vehicle. It is not built to impress in one area. It is built to perform consistently across all areas at the same time. That is what makes it different from normal performance cars. Most cars are limited by one weak system, whether it is cooling, structure, or stability. But in the Chiron, every weak point has been pushed to a level where it is no longer a limitation. And that is the real reason it feels so advanced when you take it apart. You are not just looking at parts of a car, you are looking at a fully integrated system that was designed with almost no compromise. And after going through the entire process, one final understanding stays with you. The Bugatti Chiron is not just about speed records or luxury branding. It is about proving what is possible when engineering is pushed without shortcuts. Every layer you remove shows more depth, not less. Every component reveals more complexity, not simplicity. And every system you study shows how much effort is hidden behind what looks effortless from the outside. That is a real transformation that happens when you take it apart. You stop seeing it as just a hypercar, and you start seeing it as one of the most advanced mechanical systems ever built for road use. And that is exactly why the experience changes everything you thought you knew about Bugatti. In the end, taking apart the Bugatti Chiron completely changed how I see this kind of machine. From far away, it looks like a symbol of money, speed, and status. But once you open it up and study every layer, it becomes something very different. It becomes a lesson in engineering discipline, patience, and extreme attention to detail. There is no single magic pot inside it, no hidden trick, no shortcut. The real truth is much deeper than that. What makes a Chiron special is not one system, but how every system works together without failure. The engine, the chassis, the cooling, the electronics, and even the smallest brackets all exist in perfect balance. If one part is weak, the whole system suffers. But in this car, nothing feels weak. Everything feels calculated, tested, and refined until it reaches a level where failure is almost not an option under normal use. And that is what I discovered at the end of this journey. The Bugatti Chiron is not trying to be just fast. It is trying to be complete. It is built to survive extreme performance while still feeling smooth, stable, and controlled. That combination is extremely hard to achieve, and it is a reason this car stands in a category of its OWN.SO. When people look at it from the outside, they see luxury and speed. But when you take it apart, you see something else entirely. You see a machine that represents the highest level of automotive engineering currently possible in a road car. Not perfect because it is expensive, but perfect because every detail has a purpose. And after seeing all of that up close, one thing becomes clear. The Chiron doesn't just perform at a high level. It redefines what high level even means in the first place.